What's up, kings? What's up, queens? It's a Nofap video. Even now at my office or around about when people ask me, oh, you've got a YouTube channel, what is it about? I just, without hesitation, I'm like, yo, it's about not busting nuts. And they're like horrified, you know? They're like, what? Why? Oh my God, are you joking? I'm like, no, it's like, seriously, just about the benefits of not masturbating, not jacking off. And the reason I feel so okay with saying something like that, even though at this point, hopefully people can understand that I talk about more than just that, the reason I have a sense of pride about being someone who advocates this lifestyle, this discipline, is because I realize I am not a special person. And that's like a really liberating thing. Like my problems, I'm not the only one who has gone through my emotions, my problems. We all have an inherent truth within us. We all have these notions. Everyone's got a seat of expression. We have to. We were born out of creativity. The birth of life is an act of amazing design, and the force that has compelled it is within your every cell, within your every, smaller than a cell, every vibration of your being has this creative impetus charged in there. And so everyone's got this feeling of like, there's something within me. I want to express it. And I don't know how sometimes, or sometimes I get nervous. What if I'm not good enough? What if my message isn't good enough? What if my words come out shit and no one likes me? What if no one likes me? You know, that's the biggest thing. This before picture from the thumbnail of this video is, aside from the fact that I have a kind of a stupid haircut for me, I was trying to look like Christian Bale from The Dark Knight Rises, but it kind of looked off on me. Aside from that, from the exterior, my life seemed like it was going in kind of a cool direction. I was about to fly out in a few weeks to London to audition for the drama center, the drama school, and I, was just coming out of a respectable job as a chemistry teacher. I was living that sort of LA life. I was a young 24-year-old in LA, and my friends had just come visited me from Seattle and Minnesota, and we were all hanging out together. It was supposed to be like this really, like from the exterior, from the Facebook photos, it would appear as if like I was really just like living it up as a young guy in LA. But it's so funny how the way things look on the outside and the way you sort of perceive your own reality from your own psyche, from your own physiology, how different it could be. I was trapped in a tremendous sense of dread. Anyone who is an artist can resonate with this. You constantly carry this sense of dread, like I might just be delusional. It might just not happen for me. And not only would it not happen for me, if I don't get to express myself artistically, I will go into this like annihilation of the self. Like I will be utterly destroyed somehow if I'm not able to express myself through my artistry, and my life will have meant nothing. We get caught up in these loops because we're just looking from the external world to like fill ourselves up. It's the exact wrong way to go about life. But as I was going to London for drama school and another cool opportunity that I was auditioning for at the time, I talked to my buddy and I was like, yo, I think I'm gonna like not release. I think I'm not gonna masturbate for the next week. Is that kind of weird? I don't know. Does that freak you out? And he's like, no, that makes sense to me. Like you're gonna carry a sense of like tension within you, and then you're gonna go into this audition. And I was like, yeah, I guess. I'm just gonna try it out. I just want to give the best audition I can. And so it was a 10-day period until I got to London to give my 2 auditions. And in those 10 days, just in 10 days, through this kind of stumbling onto this discipline on my own for the first time, just trying something out just because it was like a hunch, I felt something so different about just my reality. That dread, that existential dread that I was feeling as someone who was aspiring to do this thing that was impossible, it was falling to the wayside a little bit. Fear was still within me. I still lived with trepidation about what would happen with me in my career and my life. Am I failing my parents? Am I failing myself? Am I a piece of shit? It was all still there, but it was also being sort of drowned out by vigor, by anger, by being tapped into a current alongside the universe. Honestly, it felt like I was finally seeing in color for the first time, like Dorothy stepping out of Kansas into the wondrous of Oz, It felt as if, wow, like what is going on here? I felt like more people were looking at me on the street. I still feel that today. When I'd gone into that audition in London, it was the best acting that I've ever done up to that point. I sort of overacted it. I definitely went ham a little bit. There was tears in my eyes at the end, and I think the two people who were like watching the audition were a little like taken aback. They're like, damn, this guy is pretty extra. But honestly, I had never gone to that depth before because I'd been so preoccupied about how I would be perceived. Like, how should I say it? How do you want me to act? Should I do it now? And for that audition, for the first time, it was just like, you love my acting. You know, it was like I could be so free and so allowed to be all the weirdness that is within me. I was allowed to just do that because I was coming from a place of just being so charged from within that I could just go for that, you know, and I didn't feel afraid to be as weird as I am. I am a super weird guy. Now, after that audition, they sent me a message the very next day that I got in. I left the Nofap lifestyle after that audition because it was like an experiment that I was doing for the first time, until I finally, afterwards, started coming across these videos on Nofap and the lifestyle. When I heard about it first, it like immediately made sense to me because I recall that 10-day experiment for the time that I went to London to audition for drama school. And it was just something I was like, this is going to work. I mean, I can just feel from within that this is true. Later on, I discovered that there is such a strong Eastern basis, my own tradition, the Hindu tradition that I'd sort of neglected all my life. I went back to it afterwards and I realized like this is a way of living. The ancient sages knew something that I have forgotten in my modern life, trying to be a hip guy in LA. I'd forgotten something that is so real. And so I made it kind of like my ambition to get good at the discipline and to stay on the path. And I know like Nofap has sort of hit the mainstream these days, you know, like Nofap is like people make fun of it now, you know, and for good reason. A lot of us Nofap YouTubers, which I proudly wear the title of being a Nofap YouTuber, we come across as definitely like overselling what it is. But I would say it is the first discipline for men today. In a world of super stimuli, in a world of just constant bombardment and stripping you of what is your masculine source, your divine masculine, this is that foundational discipline to start with. The cultivation of your life force energy. That'll fill you up from within. And it'll give you that aggression, and it'll give you a sense of freedom to express yourself as an artist. And above all, to stop being so preoccupied with the external result. You'll lose that feeling that, oh, if this doesn't happen for me, then my life will have been annihilated spiritually and it'll have meant nothing. Life will take on meaning if you start doing this discipline. Life will cultivate a sense of ambition, an edge, a drive. It all starts with this because this is the source of your creativity and it is the first source of your expression. Whether you want to build a business, cultivate yourself as a musician, as an actor, as an artist, this is the place to start. Now, I haven't been perfect in the 2 years that I've been doing this. My last breach of this discipline has been maybe 6 or 7 months ago. But I don't consider myself having failed at all in the last 2 years, even though maybe I've like relapsed technically about 12 times in the last 2 years. I don't consider any of that a failure because it is a lifestyle. It's a discipline that you continually stay on. And you know, perfection isn't required with this. What's required is keeping it as a state of being. I said this on my Hindi channel recently, but consider this. Consider a guy who wakes up at 12 every day. He wakes up at noon, he works at like Cub Foods or something, and he works in the evening so he can afford to wake up late. And that's his life. And you know, he like has really cheap rent because he lives in the middle of nowhere. So he can get away with his minimum wage job, working it. He can still buy the occasional video game. And that's what life is. But if you took that same person and you only changed one thing about him, which is that he wakes up at 5 a.m. every day or 6 a.m. every day, he just became an early riser. It's not that one thing that would just change. The person would have to recalibrate his entire personality. If a guy's waking up at noon every day and now he's waking up at 5 or 6 a.m., he's gonna have enough time in the morning to like contemplate his existence. In those early quiet hours, he's gonna wonder if he has a soul. He just is. He's gonna wonder if he's doing enough with his life. He's gonna wonder what his purpose is, and he's gonna have the time and the quietude to like pursue whatever his purpose is. It'll change everything. There's no way he can just like stay in a dead-end situation, life without momentum, if he's constantly waking up early. Just by the changing of that one discipline, he's recalibrated his entire life. Now, Nofap, brahmacharya, semen retention, that's that same thing, like times 3 or 4. This is that one discipline that'll recalibrate your relationship with what pleasure is and what pain is. If there were no repercussions to doing PMO, or if there was no profit to be gained from doing the Nofap lifestyle, then of course it would honestly make sense to just bust all the time, man. Like, why not? It feels so great, and it's like the cheapest, fastest form of high pleasure possible. You would just do it all the time. But there is enormous profit to be gained from retaining your vital energy, and there is enormous loss of vigor that comes from releasing all the time, especially releasing to online pornography. You lose your masculine edge. Since the time that I've taken this discipline on, which is July 2017, is when I first started attempting it, life has taken on a new level of momentum. This is one of those disciplines that will completely recalibrate your relationship with pain and pleasure. The pleasures, the cheap delirium of the world won't seem so attractive, drinking to excess, aimless hanging out, losing yourself in the world won't seem that important to you. And the pain of deep study, of diligence, of working hard, of denying yourself certain physical pleasures in exchange for progress in your artistic life, in your career, it won't seem that bad. You will be willing to completely recalibrate your sense of pain and pleasure because you've denied yourself the fastest, highest pleasure that's possible without having drugs. What if you were full from within? Obviously that would completely recalibrate your dynamic with women even. You would stop seeing them as something to extract something out of, and rather it's I'm already full from within. I've already got everything I need. I've already got something to express into the world. You're just someone who can maybe complement that. So the practice of Nofap, it has meant a whole lot for me, and I've addressed other components of this as well, such as its relation to the law of attraction. It has transformed my life, and it's a topic that I will continue to talk about, although not to the same extent that I did when I started my YouTube channel. But it is a topic that I'm proud, happy, excited to touch on every once in a while, and I'm completely honored by the fact that some people, when they watch my video, it helps them stay on this discipline. That is one of the great, that's fantastic for me. It makes me feel so good that my words can help someone else stay on this path, because it is a very noble way of living, and I think it's an important message. And for those of us who are willing to cultivate our energies, not give ourselves up to cheap delirium, but rather express it outwards in a way that fills us and fills up the world. To us I say, greatness is absolutely coming. See you guys in the next one. Cheers.